how to actually align objects and lines to a surface, which is a problem I've come across during my modeling. So for this example, we're going to start with drawing ourselves a plane. So using plane, we'll just make ourselves a nice big rectangle there. You can see that's 193 meters by 268 meters. We've got 60 by 50 segments, so that's quite a nice plane there with a bit of resolution. If we go into our perspective and hit Alt W, we can see that full screen, and if we zoom, we can see that's just a plane at this point. So we're going to modify this with an Edit Poly modifier. So if we go Edit Poly, I'm going to go right to the bottom here where we've got Paint Deformation and use a Push-Pull Deformation. And we'll try this default value here, and we can see we can create ourselves a bit of a surface. So this will be good for our example here where we want to align something to a surface. So we'll just create ourselves a bit of a surface here, paint that in, and make ourselves a bit of terrain that we might use in a little bit while we modify this. So now we've got ourselves a bit of a landscape that we might want to pretend is a mountain range, for example. Let's have a look at that. We've got ourselves a bit of a mountain range type arrangement. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back and create, let's actually go back into top view, and we'll create ourselves a line, a bit of a curve. So this is going to be, for argument's sake, something like a road across our terrain. And we can close the spline, yes. So now we can see this line. So let's go back into perspective. So we've got that line there. As you can see, it goes over. Now we're going to move that line. We'll grab it and we'll move it up so it hovers above the terrain. So if we have a look there, we can see that our line is hovering up above the terrain. Now I've got a tool called Glue from iToo. Now in order to use this, in our utilities, we go more, and then we can select from our utility manager, Glue. So we've got all of the glue features here. Now we've selected our curve here, the line. And our base object, we need to pick the base object, which is our reference object. We've selected our line here as well. We can change the number of steps, and that will change the resolution of the fit. We want to increase the steps so we get more resolution. So we go up to 1,000. So we're going to turn this into a road. So we want to offset that polyline that we've just created, and then we'll fit it to the surface. So what we do is we'll use our spline selection. So we've collected that spline. And what we can do in the modifier of the line is actually go outline, and we can drag that up. We might go internal to make sure we don't fall off the edge. And we've now got an additional line. We can go back into our modifiers and the utilities. We'll pick our base object and we'll select our line. Let's increase our steps to 1,000 just to make sure we've got lots of resolution, and we'll say glue selected. And now you can see that's actually fitted to that curve. Make sure we select the new line that's being created, which is showing as an editable spline. So we'll do an extrude on that, and you'll see that's created. It's a little bit funny because, of course, we've got two different lines that are not perfectly in a plane. But nevertheless, we can actually still extrude that and create ourselves a bit of a surface. And if we look at that, that's the concept of how we might create a road that matches the terrain very well. Now if we take our same surface, I've turned off the lines, and let's go ahead and create a few teapots that we want to add in to our model. We'll just create a bunch of teapots of various sizes. So we go and select all of these teapots. We'll move the teapots up so that they're well and truly above the surface. And then if we go back in here and go full screen, we can see we've got a bunch of teapots hovering above our surface. So if we want to take those teapots and make them fit to the surface, again, we can use the glue command. So we take our base object, again we want to pick our surface as our base object, and then we select all of our teapots and we tell it that we want to fit them onto the plane. There you go, we've fitted them onto the plane at the point that they intersect. Now if we undo that, there's also this option, follow normal surface, and then if we glue the selected there, you'll see they're tilted because they're actually being glued to the normal of where they intersect the surface. So this glue utility is very helpful in order to create objects actually fitting to our surface, and this is an issue that we faced during our modeling exercise.